In this particular example, we've been asked to graph the quartic function y equals x to the 4 minus 8x cubed plus 20x squared minus 16x. One thing I should stress that when I ask you to do a curve sketching question, I expect that you show all the steps. I realize that most of you guys have graphics calculators and you can quickly ascertain certain solutions to the question without doing any sort of work. Therefore, I'm requiring that you show all your work just to ensure that you're not relying on the calculator. First thing we have to do is state the domain. Since this is a fourth degree polynomial, you should already be aware that there should be no restriction in the domain. Therefore, my x values go from negative infinity to infinity. The next thing you're asked to do is find the intercepts. Well, the y-intercept is found by setting x equal to 0. So you set x equal to 0 and solve for y, and you get a value of 0. So we know the y-intercept is 0, 0. That also happens to be one of the potential x-intercepts. Now, the other x-intercepts could be found, but it's a fairly long and cumbersome process, and so we're going to bypass that at this time. The next thing we have to do is determine if the function is even, odd, or neither. If it is even, then the f of x should be equal to the f of negative x. So I started by finding the f of negative x. That means everywhere in the function there was an x, I replace it with a negative x and evaluate that expression. And I find that f of negative x is equal to x to the 4 plus 8x cubed plus 20x squared plus 16x. You can see that this is not equal to f of x, because f of x was x to the 4th minus 8x cubed plus 20x squared minus 16x. So since f of x does not equal f of negative x, it is not even. Well, then we have to check if it's odd. To be odd, f of x has to equal negative f of negative x. So I merely take the answer for f of negative x that I previously worked out and multiply everything by negative 1 so that I obtain negative f of negative x. And I find that negative f of negative x is equal to negative x to the 4 minus 8x cubed minus 20x squared minus 16x. This is not equal to f of x. Therefore, the function is not odd. The next thing we have to consider if there are any asymptotes. This is a polynomial function, and polynomial functions don't have asymptotes.